So I brought Graham in here because we want to talk to you about the results, okay?
Okay.
So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this. And I appreciate that because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today, and you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could, at the end, say, you know what, I just need to get this off my chest. Like, I just need to tell you what happened. We're not here to play games. We're not here to do any of that with you. We just want to know what happened. So can you start from the beginning and tell us what happened?
Everything that I've told you, I did not lie on this polygraph. I don't know how much I could tell you right now. Like, I did not.
It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph. So I know you were being deceptive. So that's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. That's the issue right now.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about that. I know you want to tell us. I can see it in your face. Holding this lie in is going to do nothing for you.
I know this. Like, okay. I'm not like trying to like cover things up. Like.
Yeah, but you kind of are because it's normal. Normal people would do that. Normal people that make a mistake initially are going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. That's normal. I would expect that. It's just like if you ask your kid, you know, did you write on the wall? And they go, no. And you're like, you have a marker on your hand. Like, I know you just wrote on the wall. And they're like, oh, okay. That's a natural reaction that someone's going to initially lie about something like that and then eventually tell the truth. So this is your eventually telling the truth time. This is where the rubber meets the road, Chris. Like, don't let this continue any longer, please.
I'm not trying to make anything continue. Like, I want them back home, like.
But you know they're not coming back home. You know that.
I don't know in the back of my head. I hope they come back home.
But you know they're not.
I hope they come back home. Mm-hmm. And I don't know they're not coming back home.
Chris, Timmy and I are confused, okay? And here's what we're confused about. I told you that we've done some work overnight.
Yeah.
I told you that we've got a lot of leads, okay? That wasn't a lie.
I know.
We know a lot more than you think we do, okay? And here's where we're confused. You're this great guy, and I'm not just telling you that, okay? I'm telling you that because everyone tells us that, okay? We can't find anyone to say anything bad about you. Chris is a great guy. He's a good father. He's a good man. We're confused as to why you're not taking care of your beautiful children.
I'm not taking care of them right now?
Right now. Where are they?
I don't know where they're at.
It's been 7 years since the night that changed everything. The night Chris Watts took the lives of his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 little girls, Bella and Celeste. Back in 2018, the case shocked the world. Not just for the brutality, but because of who Chris appeared to be. A soft-spoken father, a smiling husband, a man with a perfect family. But behind that calm suburban mask was a secret, an affair, a double life, and a darkness no one saw coming. When police arrived at the Watts home in Frederick, Colorado, they found nothing but silence. Shanann's car still in the garage, her phone on the couch, her wedding ring on the nightstand. It was her best friend, Nichol Kessinger, who had raised the alarm, setting off the chain of events that would uncover one of the most disturbing family murders in modern history. But what the world didn't know back then was that there was another name lingering in the shadows. Nichol Kessinger. The woman Chris had been secretly seeing for weeks. Fast forward to today, 2025. Chris Watts, now serving multiple life sentences, has broken his silence again. From his prison cell in Wisconsin, he's begun to talk about Nichol Kessinger and what he claims she knew, said, and wanted. In a series of recent letters and interviews, Chris paints her as something far more sinister than a mistress. He calls her the reason temptation one. But is this the truth, or another manipulation from a man who spent years rewriting his own story? Before we dive deeper into his shocking new confession, subscribe to Sinister Tales, because what you're about to hear might change how you see this entire case. The monster is still talking, and this time he's naming names. The story of Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger begins like so many affairs. Secret messages, stolen moments, and whispered promises. Chris, already living a double life, would lie to Sean and while feeding Kessinger tales of a man trapped in an unhappy marriage. According to his prison confession, he painted her as a confidant, someone who understood him in ways his family never could. Yet now, 7 years later, Watts claims the truth is darker than anyone realized. He portrays Nichol not just as a lover, but as a manipulator, someone who he says pushed him toward temptation and deceit. In letters recently obtained by investigators and reported by the press, Chris describes the early days of the affair in unsettling detail. He recalls how messages were deleted, phones hidden, and meetings carefully timed. To him, Kessinger represented both escape and danger, a combination that ultimately blurred the lines between desire and obsession. Yet it's unclear how much of his version is real and how much is crafted to shift blame. Archival footage and records from 2018, reviewed alongside these recent statements, suggest Nichol was unaware of the murders before they occurred. Yet Chris's latest narrative insists otherwise, hinting that she had influence over him, that her presence in his life created the tension that escalated to violence. Some experts now question whether Watts is attempting to rewrite history, painting himself as a victim of manipulation while keeping the focus off his own calculated choices. Comment below if you think someone else played a role in these murders or if Chris truly acted alone. His new confessions raise questions about guilt, influence, and the limits of human accountability. And don't forget to like this video, because uncovering hidden truths requires persistence, and the deeper we go, the more chilling the story becomes. 7 years after the murders, Chris Watts has finally spoken. Again. This time, it's not about pleading innocence or spinning excuses for the world. It's about Nichol Kessinger. In recently released prison letters and statements, he details moments with her that were never fully examined during the investigation. He describes their secret meetings, the texts he deleted, the whispered conversations he claims pushed him toward decisions that would forever destroy his family. Yet beneath his words lies a chilling ambiguity. Is he revealing the truth, or crafting a new narrative to protect himself while casting shadows on Nichol? Investigators reviewing these materials note a pattern. Watts repeatedly positions Kessinger as an instigator, a temptation he could not resist. He calls her the spark that ignited the fire and repeatedly emphasizes her influence over his choices. Yet, when examined against 2018 evidence, deleted messages recovered, timelines, witness accounts, some of these claims don't add up. Experts suggest that Watts is attempting to rewrite history, controlling the story from behind bars while keeping the public and media focused on someone else. The revelations have reignited public interest. Social media has exploded with theories, debates, and speculation. Some argue that Nichol had no knowledge or influence over the murders, while others wonder if Watts' words hint at hidden truths we've never been told. The line between manipulation and confession has never been so blurred. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell, because the deeper we go, the more disturbing this story becomes. Each new detail from Watts' confession raises questions about guilt, influence, and how far one man will go to control his own narrative. The prison walls may keep him physically confined, but his words now reach the world, and the consequences of those words are just beginning to unfold. Even 7 years later, the name Nichol Kessinger continues to haunt the Chris Watts case. She has stayed mostly silent since 2018, avoiding media attention and public scrutiny. Yet Watts' recent confessions thrust her back into the spotlight. In his letters and interviews, he repeatedly references her influence, portraying her as a dark presence who, according to him, shaped his choices in the months leading up to the murders. The public and true crime communities are divided. Some see her as an innocent bystander, others as a silent accomplice, though no evidence has ever suggested her involvement in the killings themselves. Investigators and online sleuths alike are re-examining timelines, recovered texts, and social media activity, looking for any clue that could corroborate Watts' new narrative. The tension is palpable. Even though the legal case is closed, the ethical and moral questions remain. Did Nichol know more than she ever admitted? Could she have intervened? Or is she being unfairly vilified by a man who has spent years controlling the story from behind bars? Chris' words have reopened the debate over influence, accountability, and the human capacity for manipulation. Each time he speaks, intentionally or not, he reshapes the public perception of the events that unfolded. His prison confessions are not just admissions of guilt. They are tools, a way to shift the narrative and introduce doubt into a case that many believed was fully understood. Share this video because this story proves that even years later, secrets refuse to stay buried. The ripple effect of Chris Watts' words reminds us that truth is often more complicated than it seems, and that sometimes the most dangerous monsters are not the ones behind bars, but the ones shaping stories from within. 7 years after the murders of Sean and Bella and Celeste, Chris Watts still has the world listening. Behind the high walls of Dodge Correctional Institution, he speaks carefully, choosing words that shift blame, stir speculation, and keep one name in the spotlight: Nichol Kessinger. In his latest prison confessions, Watts paints her as a force that influenced his darkest decisions, a presence he claims he could not resist. But while he positions her as a manipulator, the evidence tells a different story, one of a man fully in control, crafting lies and half-truths to maintain a narrative that suits him. His letters, interviews, and statements have reignited public fascination. True crime enthusiasts and social media communities dissect every word, trying to separate fact from fiction. Experts caution that Watts' confessions are less about honesty and more about manipulation. Yet despite the possibility of deceit, these revelations force society to revisit uncomfortable questions about accountability, influence, and morality. Even behind bars, Watts demonstrates a chilling mastery over perception. Meanwhile, Shanann's family continues to grieve, enduring the pain of new attention on the same horrific events. Every statement Watts makes pulls them back into the spotlight, a reminder that, for them, the story is far from over. And for viewers, the case is a stark lesson. Even when justice has been served, truth can be elusive, and the real story is often hidden between words. Subscribe and hit the bell, because stories like this are far from over. Like this video if you believe the victims deserve remembrance, and comment what you think of Watts' latest confessions. Share to keep the discussion alive, because when a killer breaks his silence, the story is never truly finished.